I felt like I didn't have enough control. I couldn't control my success, basically. So I needed to find something that I had full control over to be successful with. And I didn't know what that was going to be. So I started all the way over.
I'm Kristy Austin. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to Lux Media Studios. Welcome to Whole-ly Chit. I am your host, Kristy Austin, here to remind you that you are whole. And chit, a Sanskrit word for pure consciousness, the reason I started this podcast. And today's guest is Kyle Brandon, or Kyle, how do you pronounce your last name?
Kyle Brandon Naopi, we got that Pacific Islander blood flowing along with the, African blood flowing.
What is that, Hawaiian?
Yes.
It's Hawaiian. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you grow up in Hawaii or?
No. So we're all in California, and my father and uncle, they grew up with your brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah. All that back there. Yeah.
So how I know Kyle, I actually met him at LL Cool J concert, about 6 months ago? Or did you meet before that?
Yes and no, because we've been at a ton of events, but it's so many people. And because you are who you are always getting tugged and pulled everywhere. So that was the first time we got to really chit chat, because it's the environments are so hectic each time that it happens. It's so many people, and then it's just all over the place. So we had been around each other for years, but that was the first time we got to really chit chat, because it's just a lot that goes on when we out there.
That is so
it's always busy. So that's what's crazy about the whole thing. But 6 months ago, that's when we got to really chit chat.
Yeah, and have a conversation. And I learned a personal trainer, have a workout clothing line. So I was all right, we need to get you on the podcast to talk about what you do, how you got into this, because I love hearing people's stories about how they got into the business they're in. So share with me.
Well, so the thing about training in general, where you kind of learn, is it's somewhat therapeutic, because a lot of people are actually in the gym because something is wrong. And they're trying to figure something out. And it's not just physically, but a lot of times people are in that gym, and majority of the people that are there are really going through something. And I was one of those people at that time. I had, I spent a lot of time doing the music thing, doing some touring and opening up, and a lot of stuff like that. And I had good success doing it.
You were a musician too. See,
listen,
every day.
I'm gonna enlighten you on some things. I'm gonna send you some stuff. So, but it had just gotten to the point where, in a certain space of the music industry, the landscape kind of changed for the type of artist that I am. So it went away from what I do, my principles. If for what it was gonna take for me to make it, I was gonna have to be somebody. I was gonna have to be a character, basically, and I just wasn't interested, because that comes with a price. I got sisters, I got loved ones around, so it just. And then I just always felt on some slightly arrogant stuff. I just have talent, and I could do a whole bunch of other things. So I never felt like I had to do this to make it. I was really doing it because I loved it. And then so I felt like I needed to step away and find something else that I had more control over, because the entertainment industry is only so much control that you have. I don't care, from the highest to whatever level, it's only so much control. So for me, I felt like I didn't have enough control. I couldn't control my success, basically. So I needed to find something that I had full control over to be successful with. And I didn't know what that was going to be. So I started all the way over, because like before I started doing the music thing, I worked in a school. I worked with kids. So I had kids with behavioral issues. So at first I did residential, meaning you basically raise them, make sure they do their homework, shower, all that good stuff. And that age range was from about 4 to 12. And then I went into the educational field, same type of behavioral students, but it was in a school setting. So first I was residential, now I'm in school. The difference between the school is school closes, so
Right,
you
right.
get them for that amount of time. So I got to work with behavior wise the worst of the worst in a home setting and in school. And then not only that, you dealing with adults too, that and therapists and all that stuff. And this is gonna come into the training that all this stuff kind of helped me do
Mhm.
what I was gonna do. Then before that, I'm older than I look. Remember 411?
Mhm.
I was an operator. So I was an operator, like I was an operator fresh out of like a little bit out of high school. I was an operator. And I learned my customer service skills there. Like you had to be really nice, and it was very hard to get information. The computers were slow, and we didn't have the Google, so you had people on the other end just trying to get a pizza, and we're trying to find the right one. So I got the customer service skills there, the patience, and understanding the psyche of people dealing with the kids. And then I went out and was dealing with the music heavy. So then you get the entertainment stuff and you get all what that's about. So now I have all this experience and now I got to start all over and figure it out. And I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was in LA at the time. And right now living in the IE. So I'm by Ontario in Riverside. So
Okay.
at the time where I'm like, okay, I got to make a decision, and I'm like, I'm just gonna start over and figure it out. So I applied for two warehouse jobs, right? One in LA, one in out here in this area. So I was like, God, whichever job takes me, that's the area that I'm gonna live in. I love LA. My people are in LA, but LA is better for me to visit than to live. It just is. And I know this for a fact because the LA job, I did everything, and I have a clean record, and there's some family members that don't. They all got hired, and I didn't. I'm like, huh? So that lets me know that okay, come out here. So now I'm working at a warehouse. Let me know if you need me to speed up the story. But now I'm working at a warehouse, and the funny thing about that is they made the job sound like cool. It was like
Mm,
mail clerk.
mm.
So in my brain, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna be in the office filing some stuff. So I get to the warehouse. I'm kind of dressed nice, and I walk in. It's this big old warehouse, and this lady's walking me in, and I'm like, yeah. So which office am I gonna be working in? Right? She's like, oh, you see that guy by that big machine over there? Just ask him what to do. He'll tell you. So I was literally throwing mail on a big conveyor belt, and I'm talking about the first 3 days. I thought I was gonna die. My
Ah,
forearms was hurting, like the manual labor. It was like it was the worst job physically ever, and it wasn't paying anything.
mm.
So now I come from doing all the music and all the touring and all the clubs. So I'm literally starting over to rebuild. So this place isn't paying me to do the things that I was doing. So the only thing I could really afford to do is go to the gym. I could afford that membership. The girls is gonna be there. I can buy them a Powerade or something, and I'm the man. Like that was like my club. So then I started just going to the gym after after I would get off work. That was like my only activity that I really could afford to do at the time. So now I'm just working out, just doing my own thing. In the process, I meet a young lady and she goes, "Do you ever work out on legs?" So I said, "Yeah, I work out on legs." But at that time, I was the typical guy, no cardio, all upper body, never did legs. So she goes, and
Hi.
this is important. So she goes, and she was really built. I still know her to this day. Actually, I saw her the other day. She goes, well, let's just do this leg workout. It only take 10 minutes to do it. No weights. I said, 10 minutes, no weights. I said, all right, let's go. So I lasted 6 minutes, first of all, and I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. And at the time, I had a apartment with like some stairs, and I was literally sliding up and down the stairs. It was all bad. So
Oh,
then I saw her again. When I came back, she's like, "Where'd you go?" And I told her, I said, "Look, thank you for doing that to me. That'll never happen to me again. I'm embarrassed." So from that point on, it taught me something that I use later. For one, basically, body weight is heavyweight. You don't need weights to build. Matter of fact, you're
yeah,
stronger when you can operate with your body as far as body squats, pull ups. That's why people can lift the whole gym and can't do 2 pull ups. Like body weight is heavyweight. So I learned that,
I love
and I
that.
learned that I needed to do legs. So
Mhm.
now when I started going to the gym, I would do legs basically every day. And because it's body weight, you can do legs every day. I don't need the recovery.
Right.
So in the midst of me doing this, and the gym was always crowded. And again, she did that to me with no weights. So I would just find like a little corner and just start working out. So then what started happening is there's a really pretty girl that like no one like she didn't talk to anybody. She wasn't mean or nothing. But there's some people that just are about their business and just leave them alone.
I'm here to work out. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. As beautiful as she was, everybody knew. You look, don't say nothing to her, including me. I wasn't gonna bother her at all. So
Mhm.
one day I'm on the pull downs and I see her walking towards me. So I'm thinking like, oh, she gonna ask how many sets I have left. So I take off my headphones and stand up, and she just introduced herself to me, and she just said, "Hey, I noticed that you do a lot of leg workouts and a lot of different stuff. I feel like I'm hitting a plateau. You think I can work out with you some days?" And I was like, "Yeah." So now the whole gym is looking because she doesn't talk to anybody like at all. So we exchanged information, and then the next day we worked out together, and then like for the next 6 months, she worked out with me basically every day. And then her school schedule changed, and she's like, "Hey, I can't do it as much, but And I was like, "No problem, fine." So when the other girls at the gym started noticing I was by myself, they would come up to me like, "Hey, I see you guys working out. Looks fun. Can we?" And then I'm like, "Okay." So then it turned into this big old thing of all these girls, and they all look good, and they all was trained like were working out with me. I wasn't a trainer at the time, so the gym started getting mad, and
Mm.
they're like, "Hey, you can't." I'm like, "You see me doing every set, every rep. I'm not a trainer." So that deterred me from. I'm not thinking about being a trainer none of this time. I'm just working out or whatever. And then I got into it with the people at the gym. They were upset, and we had the conversation. And then I won the conversation because I wasn't training them. So um, this went on for a while, and the key point. Let me try to get there faster. But the key point is, one morning I woke up to go to the warehouse, right? And for some reason, the alarm was it was the same time, same volume, but this morning it was just really loud. And I woke up like, and I remember praying. I said, "God, this is what I prayed for." I said, "I need you to give me something that I love just as much as the entertainment stuff, but I don't want it to be the entertainment stuff. Like, give me something, please. I cannot keep doing this warehouse." So I go to work that day. I get off and go to the gym. I scan myself in, and my nemesis there, the manager, we
Mm.
don't like each other. None. We haven't spoken 6 months. And I
Mm.
had my little headphones on. So I scanned in and walked, and I heard him, and he was like, "You working out by yourself today?" And I was like, "Yeah, unless somebody want to jump in with me." And then I put my headphones on and start walking. And he says, "You think I could talk to you for a second?" And in this moment, it was like the angel and the devil, because I don't like this person. And I had my earphones on, and I had every right to pretend I didn't hear him and keep going. And I was this close to doing it, and then something was like, nah, he was respectful, like hear him out. So I took it off, and then I went back to him and said, yo, what's going on? And he was like, I never seen anything like this. And I'm like what? He said, I never seen so many women and good looking women trust a man so much. He said, that's hard in this business. Have you ever thought about being a personal trainer? And I really had not at all. But I was already doing it and didn't know I was doing
Love.
it. Right. And so, but the crazy part about it is the messenger was somebody I didn't like.
Mm.
So God, that was my test. If I keep walking, I might still be at that warehouse now. So that's where the wheels started spinning. And then it still took maybe like a year or so for me to get the cert and really get the ball going on how to do it. But that's how I initially got into it. So because of that path, and the reason why I say all that stuff is because when I didn't look at training as a gig, I looked at it as a career. So I always treated it like that, and that's why my success has been a lot different from most trainers. Most trainers honestly cannot afford to just train and live a lifestyle. They don't have enough clients and clientele to do that. So they either have to be doing it on the side, have 3 and 4 other jobs, or some type of dual income situation at home where they're allowed to do that. It's usually a situation like that. It's rare that a trainer can just train and sustain a lifestyle and be able to go to the LL Cool J concert and meet you.
Right?
So,
Right? Okay, so a couple of questions that I want to know. I know we're kind of cutting it close on time, but two things I
see, I
want.
took too long. I told you got to tell me the rest of the story, but it
But
all goes. That's how it happened.
yes, yes,
That's how we
I
got there.
appreciate that. But I want to know, first of all, when you like started training and you got deep into training, what did it do to your mental health, and what did you notice changes that happened within you? And then also, you have this clothing line. I want to know like how that came about. This
Okay.
workout clothing line.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
Okay, so the training when I first started doing it, like I learned the business was this is gonna sound bad, but it's very cutthroat. And I learned it immediately
Mhm.
because soon as when I got my certification, someone I knew had like a little training facility, and they were like, hey, do you want to run a class or whatever? And I'm like, yeah. So she gave me like a odd time to do it, like a Sunday morning at 7. But about 20 people came out because people were excited for me or whatever. So they all paid like 15, no, about 20 people paid $15. So my math is off now, but that's a pretty good money for an hour. And
Mhm.
so I'm helping clean when the place is done. And the girl, and this was a friend, she looks at me like, okay, well, let me know when you want to do it again. She didn't give me a penny.
Mm.
So I automatically knew, ooh, this ain't, this isn't a nice business. Like people aren't really friendly. So I learned that quickly. And
Mhm.
then from the training thing, you don't really get to choose your audience. Your audience chooses you. So in my brain, because I wrestled in high school and stuff, and I know how to cut weight. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna get no disrespect to nobody, some heavier set people, and I'm just gonna help them lose weight, and I'm out of there.
Mhm.
And then, not to sound bad, but sometimes people are how they are for a reason. They don't want to do it. So
Mhm.
then I learned that, oh, they don't want to do it. I can't help who I want to help,
Right.
and not a complaint, but my lane is typically good looking girls that want to stay good looking. That's just where the lane is. Doesn't mean I can't work with anybody, but that just started to be what my group was. So you kind of don't get to pick who you get. A certain crowd caters to you, and you have to work within that. You really don't get to say, hey, I want to do just all women, or I just want. You don't really have a choice. It kind of chooses you, the clientele. That's
So
what I learned.
good looking women who want to stay fit. That's
Right, right,
usually
right.
it's correct.
They'll either be there already or not too far off. to where, but I've had, obviously, I'm talking about in a big ramification of things that I've had people, and I was able to do weight cut, but I thought that was going to be my group.
Mm.
That's what I thought it was going to be for me. I didn't think nothing, because I thought the girls that are in shape, why would they come? But
Mm-hmm.
that's why, because they do this. You know what I mean? But when not knowing anything, I just didn't even think that they would want to do it.
Right. And
Right.
I like how you said that you almost didn't take those headphones out, because it just goes to show that blessings come from the most unexpected places. And sometimes we put our walls up so much that we miss out on opportunities.
Absolutely.
So
And
Mhm.
I said, me and that dude did not like each other. And I felt that I'll give him credit, even though we never really spoke after he gave me that message, but something was on his heart to tell me that, because it went from some form of not liking this person because of this to, hey, I'm going to let him know something that he may not know. Cause because of that altercation, I didn't like trainers.
Mm.
So you don't want to be what you don't like. So I was never even thinking about it like that.
Like, let's help each other out here. Let's help
Right.
each other out. But instead of being
Right.
enemies, let's come together.
Right.
We can help each other out.
Right.
So how did the clothing line come about?
So the clothing line, this is why everything ties together. The clothing line came from the music stuff, the merch. So when we're out, they got merch and all that. It come from that. And then I just kept it going. And then I turned it in. At first it was just shirts, and then it was hoodies. And then when the pandemic hit, that gave everybody time to reassess. So around that time, like, I've always had it, but then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to turn it into a full fitness brand. But for me, I made it like not about the money, so to speak, because how I look at it is, these other brands, anybody can just go and buy them. For mine, you really have to know me, and I have to want you to have them at the end of the day, because now it means something. If anybody can just go grab it, especially at this stage, it's more of a protection, because sometimes you got people that will wear some stuff that they know they can't fit, and then when it's see-through or it tears, now, this brand is, I can't give people that leverage right now. Maybe down the road, but right now I have to protect.
Right. What advice do you have for somewhere to get started? For someone who wants to get started, do you think that, hiring a personal trainer, do you focus on certain areas of the body, or is it like a mindset?
So it's a mindset. I can answer it from two ways. I'm gonna answer it from a person looking to get a trainer, and somebody that is training. So if you're somebody that wants to get into this business, I'm not saying that you cannot make money in the business, but what I am saying, if that's your goal, find something else, because it's going to take you time to figure out your personality, the way you fit in, and then the system is taught a certain way. And there's a lot of things that once you get into it that you won't agree with, that you're being taught.
Right.
You'll learn that if you work at a gym, you can't train the way you want to, like a corporate gym. They got books and manuals. This is how we do it. And then if you go the other route, when you paying a rent, that's a tough task to make that rent and whatever else you got to pay, and to train and to get people. So you have to get into it because you love it and you care about people and do the right things, and in time it'll come into play. But if you come in here thinking, hey, I'm just gonna make this because you see, no, it's a tough task. So you get into it because you care, and give yourself time for it to build.
But I'm curious, what kind of trainer you are. My very first job ever was at a gym. So I'm surrounded by trainers, grew up being surrounded by trainers. I'd always see the different styles of trainers that there are.
So
what kind of style?
So my style is I would say mostly HIIT, the high intensity stuff, for numerous reasons. For one, you can go lighter with the weight, and I look at it like however many minutes. If it's 60 minutes, I want to give you the maximum I can give you in 60 minutes. So the only way I can really do that and guarantee results is the HIT style of training. Because if you leave me and you've done over 1,000 reps, you're good. But if I have you just lift heavy, you probably did 25, maybe 30 reps your entire workout, heart rate. So it's a service. So you want to give people the maximum. So that style gives people the maximum, especially if you want results, in my opinion.
So
And
when you
go
say
ahead.
the HIT, what is the HIT?
High intensity, a lot of circuits, a lot of supersets. Everything is a superset with me. Ain't no sitting down and you're gonna do you're gonna do something. Like it's constant movement because you're paying. So I want you to get the most that you could possibly get out of the workout. And for those people that don't like doing cardio, it covers the cardio because it's constant movement. Even though it's not running, even though it's not this, even though I incorporate those things, that's how I looked at it. That's the style that gets people the most if they come to you. To
Now,
me.
are you the yell in your ear, another
No.
rep, you can do this? Are you that like silent supporter?
I'm smooth and funny, like the comedian and charming. And then, like, when you train people, especially a man training women, you take on different roles, like as far as the behavior, not nothing inappropriate, but the way the behavior is, the interaction with you and the client. Some of them, I'm like their big brother. So that's how I operate with them. Some of them, I'm like the uncle. That's how I operate. Some the cousin, some the brother, some the boyfriend, some the husband. We bicker and all that. So it like different relationships for different people requires different training styles. There's different things that keep people going, and I'm able to utilize that stuff. And I can use those analogies because I'm a single man. If I wouldn't use that analogy if that weren't the case. But so
it sounds like you're pretty perceptive
right.
in picking up energy,
Right.
and being able to mold what you need to be at that moment.
Right. And then I train like a story. Every drill has a beginning, middle, and end, and you know where it is. So I don't have to yell at you. You automatically, if you know where the finish line is, you know how fast you want to get there. So it's like they know. I'm like, hey, you take your time, get where you got to get, and they know the quicker they get there, the more work they get. So it's like a mind thing. It's me, but it's on them, and I'm there to keep the energy flowing and keep the conversation. But drill sergeant, no, I feel like if someone's paying you, you shouldn't be yelling. Now there's some people that like that. There's some people that like that yelling, screaming stuff, but I tell them to go help. Like, man, get you somebody that yells and scream. I don't like doing that. You're paying for a service. I was an operator. I'm big on customer service. I was an operator, so I'm not. If you paying me, I'm not gonna yell at you.
I'm not one that likes to be yelled at. I like
See, that's what I'm saying.
Supportive, calm,
that's it. Calm, cool, and collective, reassuring voice. Yeah,
that encourages through comedy, laughter, that kind of stuff. You know what, I feel that that laughter is healing. The gym is healing. So if you can make somebody laugh while they're working out, it's just like a double healing experience.
Absolutely. I always say smiles on faces while I'm training. That's what I always say. That keeps people going. But I know we're tight on time to answer the other side of the question. For people out there that are looking for a personal trainer, I know the business is expensive as a whole, but I'm going to teach you how to get, everyone should have one. Like, you just have to find who. But here's the thing. A lot of trainers are going to be mad at me, but I'm a long-term person. So instead of getting a trainer and trying to train 3 to 5 days a week, get a trainer for 4 days out the week. So once a week, almost like a check-in situation, to where if you're doing your own thing or whatever, at least one of these workouts, I'm gonna get put to the test, or I'm gonna get pushed. And it kind of gives you a guideline of what you should and shouldn't be doing. And then if you have if you get that one session, chances are you're gonna work out on your own at least once or twice because you had that hard session. So whatever you do should be a little easier to that. So that's how you go about it. Like get like 4 sessions for the month. You don't have now if you can afford it or you have like a wedding dress you trying to get in or you just got some real goals, then by all means go in. But just for the common person, once a week.
Once a week.
Once a week for like accountability. Most people could afford once a week, 4 sessions a month. That's about how you want to go through it. And then there'll be weeks where you want to go, hey, I'm gonna another one this week. That's how you do it, and you kind of give yourself a guideline, and then eventually you can wing yourself off of that. But that's where I like to tell people to start. And the business tries to make them get all these package deals. It's too much. You have to give people the room to feel like they can stop if they want to. Because guess what? When they don't feel caged in, they keep going. But when these people contract them, they end up stopping midway during the contract. The times aren't flexible, all that stuff. So for the people looking for a trainer, get like 4 sessions a month. Get used to everything like that, and then you could decide where you at. That way, you won't go broke trying to get a trainer. That's my suggestion to you.
Great advice. I love it. All right. So I think we're about out of time. So for those that would like to, well, are you available to train? You're in LA, correct?
I'm an hour outside of LA. I have online sessions that are great.
Oh, nice.
We should do an online session this week and
online sessions. Okay.
Throw it up. We should do one.
Okay, we could
let's do one and throw it up. And then the clothing line, Kmaculent Apparel, with that, it's still going, but I treat it like a football season as far as promotion. Like I feel like if someone's always selling you something, you get tired. So I haven't really promoted it for probably like 2 months to let it breathe.
Okay. And then so do you have a website for that? Do you have social media accounts?
Social media is the easiest way to go. At Kmaculent, at KMACULENT. Contact me there. You can say how you got the information, and then we'll go from there and get you situated with some gear. I got some gear coming from you. Gonna have it's gonna be a major package coming.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So I need that package, and then we can do an online session while I'm wearing your clothes.
That's the deal. We won't do it until you have the
gear. Thank you for being on this journey with me. And tune in next week to Whole-ly Chit.